Welcome to Training Think Tank's First Thoughts 21.1 edition. If you're new to this channel, my name is Max El-Haj. I've coached CrossFit for over a decade, and I work with some notable games athletes, including Travis Mayer and Noah Olson. One of the key functions of this YouTube channel is helping you improve your ability to compete in the sport of CrossFit. So in this video, we are going to cover standards, setup, and points of performance. I'm going to bring in Training Think Tank coaches Brandon and Mia. Guys, what do you think about this workout?
I love it. Everyone else is hating on the wall walks. I think it's great.
Of course you would.
I'm so disappointed.
Why?
In you and in CrossFit.
What's wrong with wall walks are just as hard as any other movement we do.
I absolutely agree, and this maybe is infringing on my right as someone that's on camera right now, but I would love workouts that bring people into the community, not that are like, oh, let's make fun of them for the kipping fish movements and all that other stuff. Is that too much? I'm just saying, it's way more fun when people say, wow, that's amazing that they can do that stuff. And not that wall walks aren't hard, but the reality is that most people that are looking from the outside, this doesn't draw people in. So that would be my critique of the workout. I love that they did it though. I'm so happy. Thank you, CrossFit. I'm excited to do this and talk about standards here in a second.
All right, well, my thoughts are, no matter what you think of the workout.
Huh? Yeah, all right, let's go.
Yeah. No matter what, you should get ready to do wall walks and double unders and feel a shoulder pump. Put yourself in a good mind state, not like Brandon just was about the workout.
No, in all seriousness, I will say the one thing I do love about CrossFit, I think that this is kind of what draws people in, is that it really is always the unknown, and it forces you into uncomfortable situations. So this workout, for those like in the design that never did wall walks, sorry guys,
sorry.
It gives them now the opportunity to say, okay, well, we've been doing other things that have tested shoulder endurance or double under endurance, and so now we have an opportunity to be able to test something that's new, but I'm going to be able to give my best effort on the first attempt.
I always like when they come up with a new movement, because I think it's fun to try to figure it out. Like figure out how to do the standard most efficiently. And this is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, this really does test your adaptability. So we'll give you some thoughts on standards and what we found with just playing around with them a little bit on setup, a little bit on points of performance. We'll discuss scores a little bit, and then try to make sure that you're set up for as much success as you can on this first attempt.
Yeah, don't repeat it. You don't have to. That's for sure. So the first thing is standards. Obviously, you need to go and read the, I was going to say rule book, but read the CrossFit.com website and look at the movement standards, because there are very distinct lines that you have to have measured out. And like you saw Christy Ramo getting some no reps based on how you can drop your feet and where your hands need to touch every time you go down. So you don't want no reps in a workout with 55 wall walks.
Yeah, so what we played with thus far, there's a line at 10 inches and then there's a line at your shoulders. You have to climb up the wall with your feet before your hands release off of that front line on the way up. When we're playing with it, it's very easy to lift one leg up and then start to walk back as you're walking the second foot up the wall. You want to make sure that you don't do that. And then on the way down.
How would
I show that?
On the wall.
He's walking this way. This foot goes up, and then he's pushing his hand back before this foot comes up the wall.
Did I do that?
Yeah, this is also our credibility going.
What is wrong with us?
All right, so make sure you pay attention to that with regards to the standard on the way up.
I think that's what Christy was getting no rep for, right?
And that's going to be a very common one. So I think that is something that you have to practice before you start the workout.
We had about 4 people try the wall walk, and every single one of us did it wrong the first time. So practice it beforehand.
Yeah, it's really easy to kick one leg up, because then you can get some leverage there without
I think
having
that's how people do wall walks normally. So you're going to have to change, if you've ever done a wall walk, you're going to have to change the way you do it.
For those that are trying to be top 10%, obviously you have to have a camera. Make sure you just set it up where someone doesn't walk into it, knock it over. Make sure it's on airplane mode. I know those are common sense things, but we have it every year where someone doesn't do that. They get a call and they have to redo the workout. This is one that if you don't have to redo, you don't want to redo.
Yeah. On the way down, the same issue, that your hands both have to touch that front line before your feet touch the ground. And it was very common that you put one hand on the line and then both feet would hit the ground as you're reaching forward. So pay attention to that. If they are going to collect videos on this, you just don't want a lot of no reps, because they suck.
And then double unders, that's pretty common, right? Yeah. We know 2 feet under. I would say still make sure that you really warm up with a slight arm pump, doing some double unders, kind of get the feel for that before you do the workout, because that for someone like me or Max, you've experienced this too. You get your shoulders pumped, you get super tight, and then you start tripping a ton, and that can cost you valuable time in the workout.
I've never tripped on a double.
I've never seen you trip either.
All right, so the actual, generally in the open, transition, setup make a big difference. I don't think this workout, that's really the case. It's pretty straightforward. The wall, it has to be set up a specific distance away from the wall, so that's set. Basically just put your rope in front of that. I don't think the transitions back and forth are going to be the major differentiator in the workout. So just have it in a loop, step it in, be patient, put it down in the right spot, and that's really it. That's your whole setup.
Yeah, the big thing is make sure that when you put your rope down that it doesn't get tangled. That could obviously cost time. You see people do it every single year. So just set it down patiently or softly so that you can get back to the wall without getting it tangled.
Gently.
Gently, whatever. Yeah, all of those things, okay?
I don't know if this falls under setup or I might be moving into our next points of performance, but I think it would be smart to keep a shirt on through this entire workout so that you're not getting the sweat from your stomach on the ground where you're walking.
Yes, I agree. I think it's going to get very slippery, especially if you're doing this on a rubber floor and you're in a warmer environment and you are going to get sweaty. There's going to be a hand slip risk, and that just it throws your whole technique and throws your whole mentality off if you're in the middle and your hands are slipping out from you. So just be mindful of that. Maybe even have a towel somewhere around in the event you need to wipe your hands off.
Yeah. So points of performance, obviously you saw two really amazing athletes go, and those are going to be world-class times. Even though Chrissy didn't finish, that's still going to be an incredible time. So kind of give you a big picture, there are 550 double under reps, and there are 55 wall walks. We timed all those out, and obviously you guys know how fast a double under is. That would be 9 minutes and 20 seconds of work if you were going at max pace as fast as you possibly could. So
with no transitions.
With no transitions, yeah. So if someone's thinking like, oh, I can do this in 8 minutes, it's just unrealistic. So the first thing that I would say is like, if 9:20's no transitions as fast as possible, then kind of set your target to a little bit more realistic. And then obviously, again, finishing in 13 plus minutes for Carrie is an unbelievable time. So I think that's the first place that we should start with this.
Yeah, I mean, if Carrie is an ex-gymnast and she crushed the wall balls, and I think she had
the wall balls, huh?
Yeah, the wall walks. It's late, ladies and gentlemen. She had, I think, one break in the set of 150 double unders and 3 in the 210, but otherwise was unbroken. So that's going to be pretty close to what the world-class scores are going to be. There might be somebody that's pretty close. That means a lot of people in the top 10% are getting capped. So be prepared for being capped and not thinking that being capped is necessarily a bad score. So set your expectations appropriately relative to what we just saw.
So that would also change how you look at the total reps in the workout. Because if you, I mean, Christy finished the 21 and just barely got to the rope. So for most people, you should just forget that set of 210 double unders exists because you're probably not going to get there. So you don't need to factor that, which is a big chunk of the double under work, into how you attack the other double unders in the workout.
Yeah, for sure. And if you get there, then it's just like extra change at the end of the workout, right? Yeah. So I think that for most people, if you get to the 21, be as aggressive as you can, knowing that I'm probably not going to get, or at least look at the clock and say, am I going to finish and have a chance for the 210 double unders, or is a 21 all I have? And then if that's the case, that's when you kind of like speed up the workout as much as you can.
So we want to give a little bit of strategy advice. It's very difficult. We saw this workout with kind of a new movement. I mean, wall walks are done in training, but a new movement in Metcons. So it's very hard to give specific data. What we did see is Carrie's original set of 1, 3, and 9 wall walks were done at about 5.5 seconds per rep.
Yeah.
By the end of the workout, she was at like 8.5 seconds per rep. So there's a pretty big deterioration in speed, and it's not necessarily the speed of the wall walks, it's just that there's a rest time being built in. So if you know that's the case, there's really two options. Brandon's preferred strategy is just say, look, you're gonna get to failure in your triceps no matter what. Go out at full speed and just deal with the fatigue as it comes, take breaks in the double unders, and just keep the pace of the wall walks pretty hot. The other alternative might be setting some sort of a clock right off the bat and say, okay, well, if Carrie's at 5 seconds, I'm gonna start on an 8-second clock to begin with and just hope I deteriorate a little bit less. And that's really personal preference relative to the athlete.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be athlete dependent. The way that I would look at it would just be that when Max says go out at full speed, it would just be on the wall walks, right? So it's just like I'm trying to get the 1, the 3, and the 9, or the 6 and the 9 done as quickly as possible so that I can give my best effort for the 15 and 21, and that's where you'd start really pacing the workout. And then double unders really don't matter until you get to that 150 for most better athletes. If you're trying to get top 10%, those are the rounds that are going to really count, and that's where you have to really be able to dig. So getting through that quickly is one option for some athletes.
I would say that if you are someone who does build shoulder pump in double unders, don't go into that, even if it is only the set of 60. Is there a set of 60 double unders? Yeah. A quick break on double unders wastes basically no time as long as you're disciplined about it. So don't dig into shoulder fatigue on double unders. It's not worth it.
Yeah, you can do 10, 15, 15, 20, 20, 20, 30, 30, 30 pretty successfully through the 10, 30, 60, and 90, as long as those breaks are pretty quick. Or if you end up tripping and missing, just take a 2 or 3 second break at that miss just to give your shoulders a little bit of time to flush, because I think that's going to be the major limiter for most people. There might be some core, but I think just triceps and shoulders from pressing and climbing the wall is going to get pretty nasty. I mean, Christy is a smaller elite athlete, and she's pretty damn good at gymnastics, and she still had the pump be like a major limiter for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rest time built in if you allow it to kind of like if you pace in a way that's like, I'm gonna rest on the double unders, I'm gonna rest every third wall walk, or whatever it may be for you. So like, give you an example, Carrie was 10 minutes and 56 seconds of working time. Like she was on the rope or she was doing a wall walk, but she still had 2 minutes and 8 seconds of transition or rest time.
Yeah.
So there's still transition and rest time built in. It's just a matter of how you use that to make sure you don't get to that failure point like Mia's talking about.
Why you look at me?
I don't know, I thought you might have something to say. All right, so for warm up, Mike and Kyle Ruth did a video on warming up for this workout, gave you a sample workout. Check that out. It's also on the YouTube channel. And that's all we got.
That's all, folks. Max is going to be doing a second thoughts video, which will be fun since there's not much to say until you watch the videos. And then make sure that you do watch the warm-up video. That will help you prepare your shoulders, because this is a shoulder burner. And with these two movements, could cause some trips on the double unders if you're not warm enough for those.
Yeah, and remember, as we get started in the open, competing is a privilege. You only have a period of time in your life where you can really drop the hammer and compete and utilize your body to celebrate performance. So get after it, even if you're like Brandon and you disagree with the workout. Hit it hard, come up with a strategy, and good luck, my friends. Thank you for being part of our community.
I just want to beat you.
That was very motivational.
In this video, we are going to cover some fuck, I forgot the bullet points. What was it? Setup. I need to write those. Standard, setup, points of performance.
You got this. Standard, setup, points of performance.
Standard, setup, points of performance. Standard, setup, points of performance. I'm definitely going to forget that. Standard, setup, points of performance. In this video, we are going to break down 21.1, and I'm going to... Fuck. Standard, setup, points of performance. Standard, setup, points of performance. Standard, setup, points of performance. What's the first one again? It's not strategy.
Standards. Hey, if you get there,
I know. Fuck it. I'm writing it down. You keep telling me to stop writing it down. It's gonna help me remember. I still can't remember it. Setup, points of performance. Standard, setup, points of performance. Standard, setup, points of performance. We are going to talk about 21.1. We're gonna give you setup tips. Help me out. Fuck, why can't I get these 3 words? I have to write it down. Now it's just a neurotic compulsion that has to happen. Standards, setup, points
Think of anything that I wanted to say.
of performance. Nice, earlier than I thought, because I've been here for an hour doing this stupid video. I'm not a one-take wonder tonight.
That's for sure.
So in this video, we are gonna cover stand-up, setup, and points of performance. What? That's what you said, wasn't it? Stand up? Fuck. I am. Send me home.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.